You know that feeling, right? You get off a boat or a long flight, and for a few minutes it feels like you're still moving. A little rocking, a bit of a sway. It's weird. For most of us, it just fades away. But what if it didn't? For some people, that phantom motion never stops. And that baffling condition has a name: Debarquement syndrome.
I want you to really think about that. Imagine stepping off a cruise ship, but your body just never gets the memo that you're back on solid ground. We're talking days, weeks, sometimes even years later, and you're still living with this constant, invisible motion. This isn't just feeling a little off balance. It's a persistent, totally life-altering sensation. And that is the mystery we are diving into today.
Now let's be clear about something. Most of us know what it's like to get your sea legs. That's an active process. Your brain is smart, and it consciously adapts to the rocking of a boat so you can walk around. But Debarquement syndrome, or MdDS, is completely different. It's when that adaptation process goes haywire. It's not a skill you learn, it's more like an uninvited guest in your brain, a glitch in the system that gets stuck on repeat.
And it's not just in your head. This is a real, recognized neurological disorder. When you talk to people who have it, they almost always describe the feeling in one of three ways: a front-to-back rocking, like you're in a rocking chair, a side-to-side swaying, like on a boat, or an up-and-down bobbing. It's a very, very real sensation of movement, but nothing is actually moving.
Okay, and this is where it gets really strange. This is the central paradox of MdS. You'd think more motion would be the worst thing for someone who feels like they're constantly moving, right? But for many patients, getting into a car and just driving around provides instant relief. The phantom motion just stops. But the second the car stops, that rocking and swaying comes rushing right back. And that right there is our first huge clue that something really unique is going on inside the brain.
So, to solve this mystery, we have to play detective. We need clues. And our first clue isn't in the brain, surprisingly. It's deep inside the inner ear, where a kind of incredible anatomical deception is taking place.
So inside your ear, you have these amazing little gravity sensors. Think of it like this. When you're standing up straight, the utricle acts like a little carpenter's level. It's horizontal, and it detects side-to-side sway. Meanwhile, the saccule is vertical, and it's constantly telling your brain which way is down, thanks to gravity. This is your body's baseline. This is how you know you're still.
But what happens when you go lie down in your cabin on a cruise ship that's rocking back and forth? The whole system gets turned on its side, literally. Now, your saccule, the thing that normally senses up and down, is in the horizontal position. It suddenly becomes the main sensor for all that side-to-side rocking. It's a total deception, and your brain doesn't know it's being tricked. It just starts recording this new, very weird data.
And this quote, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? When you're asleep on that boat, your brain is absolutely not resting. It is wide awake, and it's recording this brand new song of motion. And it's learning this rhythm from the wrong sensor, the saccule. Essentially, your brain is learning a completely new definition of normal movement, all while your body is completely still and passive.
So, that's clue number one. The ear gets tricked. But that doesn't explain why the feeling sticks around long after you're back on land. For that, we need our second clue, which takes us into the brain itself and how it can get stuck playing a rhythmic echo.
The key concept here is something called entrainment. It's a fancy word, but the idea is simple. Think about being at a concert. If one person starts clapping a beat, pretty soon, thousands of people are clapping in perfect rhythm. They've entrained. Well, your brain can do the exact same thing. The constant, repetitive motion of a boat can actually train a part of your brain to start firing in perfect sync with that external motion. And that's exactly what happens. The brain's own internal metronome gets completely hijacked by the rhythm of the boat. It learns that rhythm so well that it just keeps playing it, like a song stuck in your head. It creates this persistent echo of motion that just won't stop, even when you're standing perfectly still. Your brain is now generating the feeling of movement all by itself, from the inside out.
And we know this isn't just a theory, because we can actually see it. PET scans show that this specific part of the brain is overactive. It's working way too hard in MdDS patients. That faulty rhythm gets burned into the brain's wiring. And here's the kicker. Because our brains lock in memories while we sleep, patients often say their symptoms are the absolute worst when they wake up in the morning. It's like their brain has been practicing the wrong song all night long.
Okay, so let's recap our clues. Clue 1, an anatomical trick in the ear. Clue 2, a rhythmic echo that gets stuck in the brain. So with that information, how in the world do you crack this case? Well, it turns out the answer is to fight motion with motion.
The solution is this really fascinating idea that's basically a form of neuroengineering.
Think about it. If the brain learned the wrong rhythm, then the goal has to be to teach it the correct one. The treatment uses a really controlled visual pattern to essentially overwrite the old corrupted file in the brain with new data that tells it what being still is actually like.
So here's how they do it, step by step. First, a clinician figures out the exact direction of the patient's phantom sway. Then, the patient sits and watches a huge screen filled with moving black and white stripes. This gives the brain a super powerful visual signal of motion. And, at the very same time, their head is gently rolled from side to side at a very specific, slow frequency. That combination of visual input and physical motion is so strong, it basically forces the brain to pay attention and recalibrate, to hit the reset button on that phantom rhythm.
I know, that sounds incredibly specific, maybe a little like science fiction. But the big question, the only one that really matters, is does it actually work? Well, let's look at the verdict from a major study on this exact treatment.
The results are, frankly, remarkable. This treatment protocol has an overall success rate of 64.1%. Now, let me put that a different way. Nearly 2 out of every 3 patients get significant relief from their symptoms. For a condition that for years was considered basically untreatable, that is an absolutely huge leap forward.
But if you dig into the numbers, you find something even more profound. See, some people get MdDS after a trip on a boat or plane, but some people get it completely spontaneously, for no clear reason at all. And here's the amazing part. The study found the treatment was just about equally effective for both groups. That's a massive revelation. It suggests that no matter how it starts, it's likely the same core problem underneath.
So the bottom line here is this. We now have a standardized, evidence-based treatment that can actually help the majority of people suffering from this, no matter how their journey began. And that transforms MdDS from just some unsolvable medical mystery into a treatable neurological disorder. And this quote, it just captures the solution so perfectly. The entire problem started because the brain recorded a faulty map of motion. The treatment works by giving the brain the absolute, undeniable truth of what stability feels like, which allows it to finally fix its internal map and, at last, silence that maladaptive song. Which leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating thought. What other phantom sensations might we be able to silence just by retraining the brain?